Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Tactical 336. My name is Corey, and today we're going to be doing a breakdown and cleaning of my Glock 19 Gen 3. For safety purposes, all mags are clear. Just want to show you anyway. Clear, there's no round in the chamber. Let the slide go back, pull the trigger in the safe direction. We're all set. Just to be clear, their mags are empty. There are no rounds in the vicinity of my workspace right now. We always want to be safe. Sometimes we get in the habit of inserting mags, racking. You might have a accidental discharge. So you want to make sure there are no rounds in the vicinity of your workspace, just to keep yourself and anybody else in the presence of you safe as well. So this is also my everyday carry. I'm rocking a Tier 1 concealed holster with a extended mag holder. I'll bring that back up just so you can see what it looks like. That's what we're working with. So take that back out. We don't need this right now, so we're going to stick it right under here, as well as this extra mag. So we're going to go ahead and break down this Glock 19. What you want to do is wrap your index finger at the rear sight. Wrap around. Want to get a little bit of pressure. Doesn't take too much. A little bit of pressure. And pull the takedown pins down. Let the slide go. And just come right off. Set that to the side. Take down your spring, which I believe this is a standard spring. Some of the newer model Glocks might come with a standard metal spring, and this is something that I'll probably be replacing in the near future. Have your barrel and your slide. That's broken down. Before I get to the cleaning, I want to talk about the slide specifically. So I do like the Gen 3. However, the Glock store does sell a extra slide or a replacement slide that is red dot ready, and it also has the lacerations on the front side of the slide. So in case you want to pressure check, you can do it with this standard slide that doesn't have the lacerations. However, if you have very slick hands, you might not be able to get that good of a grip, so you kind of want to have to go from the backside. Speaking of the handle, I love the grooves that the older model Glocks had. I feel like I get a better grip on that as well, seeing that my fingers line up with the grooves. It just feels good to me. I will be adding a Talon grip, the graphite Talon grip, at some point. Excuse me. I like the texture of that Talon grip, and it just does it for me. Just, added grip to what I have now. So we will get on with the cleaning. What I have in front of me for my cleaning station is a microfiber towel for any excess cleaning that you need with your hands. I have a bunch of pads for the specific gun, slide, whatever I need to clean, apply oil to, or bore cleaner. Have your toothbrush, filing down, getting some of that gunk out of the slide, the mag well, as well as the metal parts on your trigger, your takedown, not your takedown lever, your slide release, and so on and so forth. You can scrub the spring as well. Some people do, some people don't. You have your barrel utensil and attachments. You have your you have your wire attachment, as well as the pad threader, and any other ones that you might need. The ones with the point I don't necessarily use. Although this is metal, you never know. The plastic could scratch something that doesn't need to be scratched, and you might have a defect with your firearm, and you never want that. So I just kind of leave those apart. That's why I use the brush. Whether I'm scrubbing with the brush or trying to clean something out, I'll put a pad on the end of the brush and I'll, clean it out that way. So we'll get on to it. So everybody has a different way of doing this cleaning, whether it be a specific process or you just kind of pick up parts and start going. What I usually do is I'll start with the barrel. So this gun has not been shot yet. I just recently picked it up not too long ago. So it is fairly clean. I did notice when I got home and, kind of manipulating the firearm that it was a little bit on the dry side of, a factory lubrication. So it's not necessarily a cleaning video, but we'll clean it anyway just for the time being. So what I will do is I will take some Hops 9 bore cleaner, which is what I use. I use the products, been using it for years. It works just fine for me. I need to get a new set. This bottle is been leaking for a while now, so I'll get on that at some point. And what you want to do is you want to take some of the bore cleaner, just dab a little bit on the pad. Just a little bit. We'll do a little more. Set that aside. Doesn't take too much. I don't know if you can see that. And we'll set that right there. And we use the pad threader. The reason I'm not using the wire brush because it hasn't been shot, so there's no residue to break down in the barrel. So what you want to do is thread that guy through there. And just to keep in mind, these are not the standard pads that come with the Hops 9 cleaner. I think I got these from Sportsman's Warehouse. They're called muzzle loader cleaning patches. I don't know how many comes in the bag, but it's an 8-ounce bag. It's a ton of them come in, and they're much thicker than the standard pads that come with the Hops 9. I like them due to the fact that they are, the fabric is a little thicker. Some you're not going to use twice, just as the standard pads would, but like if you're cleaning off residue or something, you might be able to get 2 or 3 or 4 wipes out of those pads and all the other ones. Kind of save some of the cleanup. So we're going to stick that guy in the barrel. We'll twist it till we get all the way to the top. Come back down. Okay, the barrel is a little bit dirty. Possibly from the factory shooting that one round to make sure that the firearm functions. So I'm going to do a few passes with this bore cleaner. Sometimes you kind of forget how many times you're going back and forth with this one pad. It's not a certain amount of times that you need to go, just when you feel comfortable. So I think that'll do. As you can see, we have a little residue from that pad. Actually pretty decent amount. So from this point on, we're going to use clean pads now. And what you want to see is pretty much a fresh pad coming back when you're taking off that extra bore cleaner or residue from the barrel. You might not get all of it, but a very fair amount. Keep in mind that this is a tool to protect yourself, your family, the people around you. So really take your time and take the time cleaning your weapons, firearms, just to make sure they're squared away and you won't have any malfunctions. Put that back down. So pretty much that one pad kind of cleared it up for us. So now we don't have to put any more bore cleaner. Kind of take a pad and go on the outside. Like I said, seeing that this gun hasn't been shot, there should really be no gunpowder residue on this barrel. Very minimal, if anything. Want to get all around the barrel. Want to get the feeder to the barrel, wipe that off. And like I said, you're pretty much good. So from here, I'm gonna dab some lubricating gun oil on the barrel, not too much. If you do put too much, you have more than enough pads to wipe down until the barrel is lubricated to your liking. What you do, you take your finger, just kind of rub it around. You're most likely gonna put enough on the barrel to where you can go all around the gun. And majority of the parts on the barrel are gonna rub against the parts on the slide. So you don't want to put too much oil, but you don't want to put too little either. Make sure you hit that feed rim as well, just to get a little taste on that. Sometimes your rounds might get caught up on that feeding ramp and it'll be a failure to feed. And what do? Tack, rack, and make ready. A little lesson for you guys right there. All right. Take another pad or two, kind of get one. Oh, we got enough. So I'm gonna wipe some of that oil off. Barrel's still shiny. Got more than enough on there. It's pretty well lubed up, I will say that. And we'll put that guy right there. All your dirty pads go in one pile, and you clean up yourself with the microfiber towel. All right, now that we are done with this tool, set it to the side, put that bore cleaner back up, and move on to the next phase. And the next phase will be the slide. Now the slide is also, like I said, not dirty. It does come with factory lubrication. I don't know specifically what this piece is called, that piece right there, but they put something on that piece from the factory. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I usually clean it off and lube my gun, my firearm, how I see fit. So just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna scrub, get all that gunk out. Scrub all around in the grooves where the slide meets the barrel, because all that is rubbing together. Get all in there. And your firing pin is located here. And when it is depressed, you want to have the barrel upside down, and you want to brush down, because you don't want to get any debris in that firing pin hole that doesn't need to be in there. Blow it off. Now that that is done, I'm going to take a pad, as I instructed earlier, and you can put it on the toothbrush, and you want to take away all that gunpowder residue. You can use 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 pads, however many you want to. So the reason this is dirty is because the brush was already had enough gunpowder residue on it, which I need to get a new brush. So I'll use another pad with my hand just to be sure. You know, too sharp. That looks pretty clean to me. And now we will re-lubricate this slide. So what you want to do is what I do. You know, this is only a suggestion for whoever watches the video, if you choose to, is you want to drop a few in the rail, if you can. With this bottle, it's kind of hard because I don't have like that metal tip that some other products have. And I just might look into some different products, you know, kind of try it out and see if I can tell any difference. So now that the oil is in the rail, I kind of want to go up and down. You don't necessarily have to, because when you apply the sliding barrel back to the grip of the gun, you just want to, you know, kind of rack it, and it'll all come into place. That oil will be distributed throughout the whole rail, and your gun will be lubricated. You're gonna hit this other rail with that. Get your finger in there. You know, you can work it yourself. Sometimes you might put too much, so you kind of twist that pad up to a point. Maybe wipe some of that stuff out. You do want your gun well lubricated, but you don't want your gun dripping oil when you put it back together. It's not what we want. You know, sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty. Put a little bit on the finger, slide it on that metal piece that I was speaking to you about earlier. You also want to do a drop at which will be the top of the slide. Obviously, it's flipped upside down. That is where your barrel and slide will meet, and it will continue rubbing together, regardless of you racking it or shooting it. Want to make sure that's lubed up all around the sides. The barrel does rub on that, you know, metal on metal, so I got to make sure it's lubed up. Obviously, you don't want too much. I'll take a clean pad, seeing, you know, kind of want just enough. You don't want too much. Like I said, you don't want it dripping. All right, I think that's a pretty good deal right there. Because this is a plastic spring, maybe this part is metal. I won't put any oil on this. I don't really think it's gonna make a difference per se. It could. If I had a metal spring, then I would, you know, drop some oil in it and clean it. But for this one, I will not. And we're all done, so I'm gonna put it back together. Put that barrel in. Connect that spring. We'll put that right there. Correction, we're not all done. So you can clean all the metal parts that are connected to the handle, the grip of the gun, whichever one you want to call it. You can wipe those down with pads. Because I oiled the rails of the gun very well, I don't necessarily need to put extra on the metal parts. Some people do, some people don't. But I think I have enough on there where I think it'll be pretty good. So we're gonna put this back together. And those grooves on the back, meet them with the metal parts. I'm gonna wrap it 2 times, get that oil distributed on the rail. Just some test dry fire. Make sure everything is intact. The gun rack's fine. And we are all set. That's cleaning my Glock 19 Gen 3, and we'll catch you next time. Y'all have a good one.